off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Hello, welcome, good afternoon. Appreciate you for joining me. My name is Taylor Bell. This is the eSIMstudios YouTube channel. Got some interesting news today. Was gonna go live yesterday, and then literally when I was getting the stream set up, the YouTube it didn't crash, but the YouTube outage, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, happened. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I was like, screw it. I'll do it tomorrow. But got a quick one because I need to hit the road. But I wanted to squeeze this in because if I don't do it now, I'm not going to be able to get to it. So we have Pixel 10a news. Pixel 10a launched actually in a nice kind of red color like this. We got outstanding performance news, not from the Pixel. We got disappointing performance news from the Pixel. Well, it's a mixed bag from the S23 Ultra. We got big news in regards to the performance. It was spotted on Geekbench 6 yesterday. Holy crap, are those numbers big. They got a lot to be excited about when it comes to performance, it looks like on there. And then we'll also get into, oh crap, what was it? Oh yes, the Nothing Phone 4a. So it looks like we got pricing on that. Storage variants, release date. We also got the CPU that it's going to be sporting. We'll jump into that. So let's not waste any time. Let me share my screen here. Can all of y'all hear me all right? Let me make sure. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go. I want to say hi to everybody. Yeah, basically 10a, 9a, what's the difference? Well, there's one main difference, and besides the color, and well, I don't even know. I think they introduced this on the 9a. Let's jump into it. So let me share my screen here. Pixel 10a. Cool color, right? The blue is always nice. That blue Pixel 10 is nice. They brought that same blue to the 9a series. But that berry red, ooh, it looks very nice. Now, I'm here on the Google Play Store. Check your emails. Google sent out emails. I hadn't got one yet. I got one for the Pixel 10 mad late. I'm talking about like a month or two late. Google sending out, I think, $150 off. I'm checking right now. I think Google sent out $150 off coupons or promo codes for this Pixel 10a series. Check your email. It looks like mine is not there. Anyways, yep. No, it's not. But you get a, let's see, $100 off store credit. So if you can see down here at the bottom, it says from $284 with available trade-in. Yeah, now we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm just going to go through the trade-in process here. Looks like you do have some good, decent discounts. They are touting 30 hours of battery life on this thing. Now, what are the trade-ins? Do they have any good trade-ins? Let's see. Pre-order. And what storage variants? So they have a 256 and 128. There's a lavender color, berry, fog, and obsidian, which is black. What does this fog look like? Why does this keep on jumping on me? There we go. It's like a mint green. Doesn't look too bad, right? 128 for $499, 256 for $599. Now, I'm actually not mad that they have last year's CPU in there because actually it performs better than the current G5, Tensor G5 that's in the Pixel 10 series. So actually it's not a bad thing at all, right? Should get phenomenal battery life, performs better than the 10 series. In fact, this might score better. The 10a might score better on benchmark testing than the Pixel 10 or 10 Pro. I'm not even joking. Like, in fact, I would love to know the benchmark scores for this to see if it does beat out its bigger siblings. It might be embarrassing, honestly. Maybe Google played with the CPU a bit, but It's there if you want it. Look, it's no surprise. There's no standouts here. Let's jump into the specifications. Do we see anything on here that looks different from last time? Gorilla Glass 7i, aluminum frame. Anything different? It's got the POLED, peak brightness 3000 nits. I really don't see much. 8 gigs of RAM. They did not jump to 12. Let's see here. 13 megapixel front facing selfie sensor, 48 megapixel rear sensor, a sensor, 13 megapixel ultra wide on the back as well. So it is what it is, right? It's a Pixel. You've seen one, you've seen them all. That's not throwing shade on it. It's gonna, if this interest, look, I've purchased many A series. I have my family on the Pixel A, not my immediate family. Well, my parents and or grandparents all have Pixel A series. So it kind of tells you, it's for somebody that just wants a phone that they don't have to worry about for years to come. They're going to get it updated once a month for 7 years, and it'll do everything a phone is supposed to do, right? I would not get it if you play games and or edit videos, but obviously there's better choices if you're interested in that. But it is what it is, right? It's a Pixel A series. It's a nice performing basic smartphone. That's basically what I call it. A basic smartphone, right? Nothing special. Not gonna blow the socks off. The color looks cool, but they had to throw some crazy colors on it to get people's interest, right? So let's look into this. Speaking of the 10A, before we move on, this is a question that I was waiting on the Pixel 10A to be released to see if they were going to put the battery health assistant feature on the 10A and or any newer smartphones moving forward from Google. Remember, after 200 charging cycles, I've been keeping an eye on mine. I'm keeping a close eye on it because it was charging slow today. I'm on charge like 201. And I'm going to keep a really, really close eye on it over the next day or two to see if the charging is cut in half, because that's exactly what they're going to do with this Pixel 10a. It is not an option. It is once again mandatory on the new Pixel 10a. Google Battery Health Assistant feature, where over 200 charging cycles, roughly comes out to about 6 months, they're going to cut your charging speeds in half, and they're going to cap your battery capacity at 80%. Now, they need to make this optional, but they have not. It's mandatory. So that's one thing we were wondering. Are they going to continually do this on each and every release? So far, that's what they're doing. So interesting. And of course, down the line, a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, they can go back in and make it optional, right, with a simple software update. But still, I'm not touching. Look, I'm really going to be upset if they continue this trend and put it on the Pixel 11. At some point, I'm just going to stop buying them, because once I hit that 200 charging cycle limit, I'm probably going to think about getting rid of it, right? So I'll have a Pixel for the first 6 months of the year, and then for the next 6 months, I'll have something else. And then when the new ones come out, I guess get the new one and have for 6 months, 200 charging cycles, and then get rid of that. So it sucks that we're at this point. At some point down the road, I may just say, screw it, I'm not going to do that anymore. We'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. But it is mandatory on this 10A. After 200 charging cycles, your charging speed is cut in half. Battery's capped at 80%. Now, let's move on to the Pixel, let's move on to the Nothing Phone 4A. We've known this is coming out. Carl Pei had to put a video out last month saying this is their flagship. This is their flagship for 2026. Which, honestly, there's that theory of you don't really need to release a flagship phone every year. Just release one when you're ready. Well, the phone 4A is ready. And this is similar to Pixel's A series. It's a watered-down version of their flagship device. Now, I don't think anything's going to blow your socks off on this one as well. they're still keeping the glyph lights on the back of this. So they were removed from their flagship phone 3, but this 4A is still going to have some glyph lights. Now, pricing is not going to increase too much. I thought there was a report 2 or 3 months ago the price of these Nothing Phone 4As were going to increase drastically. It says here there's about a €50 increase over the previous year, and that goes for the 128 and the 256 gig variant. Now they do sell an 8 gig of RAM variant in the UK, but in the US, and no word if this is going to be on their beta program, if this is going to be available for US customers. I'm assuming if everything stays the same, the Nothing Phone 4A will be available to US consumers on the beta program, but it will be a 12 gig of RAM, 256 gig model. They just offer 2 SKUs, 2 models for the US market. Two different colors, same storage configuration. So the biggest knock on these Nothing phones here in the US is the bans, is the availability of service providers in these Nothing phones. The Phone 3A did not play nicely with Verizon. It did not play nicely with AT&T. And it was even more so on older models. So we'll have to wait and see when these come out. Subscribe to eSIMstudios. We'll jump into GSM Arena when this does get officially launched and check out how many 5G bands this Nothing Phone 4A is going to support to see, because I know there's a lot of people here interested in this, but it sucks when your service just isn't right, and that's why it's still on the beta program for US customers. And again, no word if they're officially going to release this in the US, but I'm assuming it'll still be on the beta program. So it looks like the Pro version. So remember they had the Nothing Phone 3A and then 3A Pro right here in the photos. 3A was on the right, the Pro was on the left. 3A, classic looking phone. 3A Pro on the left, pretty friggin' ugly. But some people liked it. I certainly did not. But we don't know. We do know the glyphs are going to hang around. We don't know it to what degree. We just don't know yet, obviously. So we have specs here. We have price. So the 4A Pro is going to get a bigger price jump than the 3A. So the 4A will see a $50 price increase over last year's model, over the 3A. And the 4A Pro is going to get a $90 price increase over last year's 3A Pro. You're stepping up into that mid-range, so they're not really budgets anymore, because the starting price for the 4A Pro is going to be $479. That's right up there with the Pixel 10A, which we just reviewed. Now, if you like fast phones, if you like fluid phones, if you're a OnePlus fan, you would love a Nothing phone, quite honestly. It's the closest thing you'll get to it. Obviously, take Oppo out of the consideration, but if you're a OnePlus fan, the Nothing phones are great, right? Similar kind of fluidity and same kind of feel, right? There's probably more customization on OnePlus, but these have a very, very nice look to them. Let's see, you're gonna get camera system, you're gonna get a trio on 50 megapixel sensors, and this is just the 4A. So it looks like you're going to get 3. It does look like you're going to get 3 50 megapixel sensors. Still keeping that glyph light bar. Still going to have a 6.78 inch display. Now the Pro is where the better photos are taken, right? They're upgraded the sensors. It looks like they're going to use a 50 megapixel Sony sensor for the main shooter. Aluminum chassis, slightly larger 6.83 inch 144 hertz display. That's big news. However, it's probably only active in a few apps, right? Both will be powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 7S Gen 4. Decent CPU for a mid-range phone, right? Not going to blow your socks off, but it will do. It'll be fine for most people, quite honestly. It'll be just fine. You're going to get a big 5400 milliamp hour battery, 50 watt charging, IP65 dust and water resistance. And it says the 4A will have an 8 megapixel ultra wide on the back rather than having 3 50 megapixel sensors. Okay, so it'll have The 4A will have two 50 megapixel sensors on the back, and then the third will be an 8 megapixel, while the third on the 4A Pro will be a 50 megapixel Sony sensor. Give me 1 second. I gotta run. But before we get out of here, I cannot leave without showing y'all this. Did y'all see this? S26 Ultra got benchmarked, and holy crap, is it fast. The Ultra. Now, it has even a more of an overclocked CPU than the S26 and S26 Plus. Blazing fast. I want y'all to look at this real quick. Check this out. Absolutely stunning results we got here. Look at these scores. So this is compared to the iPhone 17 Pro Max, right? So the S26 Ultra single core results scored 3761, which is just a few percent behind the iPhone 17 Pro Max. But look at the multi-core score. Multi-core score is heavy duty tasks, gaming, editing, running, a bunch of operations in the background, really intense, graphic intensive processes. Check out that score, 11,454, 17% faster than the Pro Max. Anything over 10,000 for the multi-core score is awesome. And this thing blew it away. So that is insane. I saw that yesterday and I was like, holy smokes, I could not believe that. Absolutely insane. So just thought it should be fast. It's an Ultra, damn right. So, just throwing those out. I didn't know if you saw that or not, but pretty friggin' amazing. Told y'all it would be a quick show because I gotta run. I'm gonna go while there's still a little daylight and go take some pictures with this Motorola signature and upload a picture and video tomorrow. So I'm gonna run. I'm late. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hope everybody has a wonderful and safe rest of the day. Peace out.